NATO defence ministers are meeting today in what is expected to be a loaded discussion on relations with Russia. International muscle flexing is in full swing ahead of the conference as Washington warns that it stands ready to take out Russian missiles. The comments that come after President Putin hosted the Chinese military for the biggest war games since the Cold War. Well, let's go now live to Brian Carter. Brian, some strong words there from the US, aren't they?
Yes, absolutely, Belle. These comments were made yesterday by Kay Bailey Hutchinson, the U.S. ambassador to NATO, and indeed she mentioned the words takeout. And what she was aiming at was was Russia and the fact that she accuses Russia of developing these medium-range missiles that could carry nuclear warheads and potentially hit targets in Europe. Now, the U.S. says that this is in breach of the INF Treaty of 1987, the Intermediate Range Nuclear Forces Agreement, which banned these kind of weapons. Now, what did she mean exactly by takeout? Some say that she perhaps meant preemptive strikes on Russia. We might find out more about these remarks today. One thing is for sure is that NATO also is claiming that Russia is in violation of its international commitments. Russia has denied these allegations, saying that it does not violate the INF Treaty. But of course, this will be a big part of the discussion today amongst the NATO defense ministers.
And what else are we expecting those defence ministers to discuss today?
Well, essentially, Belle, this meeting has been convened to discuss the July NATO summit between the heads of states and governments of NATO. If you remember, in July, this summit was marked by Donald Trump's behavior, his remarks towards Angela Merkel, the Chancellor of Germany, and of course his pressure on allies to spend more on defense spending. And he said that the non-US allies should reach their 2% of GDP defense spending target as early as possible. Now, yesterday, Jens Stoltenberg, the Secretary General of NATO, said that the non-US allies were making progress in that sense, saying that they've already added $41 billion to the defense budget in the last 2 years, and that by 2024 they would add another $266 billion. So, of course, this goes into the concept of burden sharing. They will also discuss deterrence and relations with Russia. And finally, they're likely to talk about the results of the referendum in Macedonia. As you know, there was an overwhelming yes to change the name of the country, but there was a low turnout. Now, yesterday, NATO said that they would welcome the Republic of North Macedonia as the 30th member of the alliance if the name change is completed, and that could be done as early as next year.